push up higher, it will also be have to coupled by an RBI rate cut.
Hi, morning, Aisha. Morning to you and your viewers. Yes, I think it's a very good print actually. 8.2% was, I think nobody expected that number. But we have to also just keep in mind basically that the nominal GDP number is not going to be very strong given that our inflation number is not very high. And I think that could be a cause, a bit of worry basically as we go ahead. And hopefully, I think the cuts which have happened recently, I think that should help the nominal GDP to also scale up. As far as RBI is concerned, I definitely expect a rate cut to happen. With this kind of a number, I think there is a good time actually to go ahead and push for it. One, it will improve liquidity also, and it is going to actually allow the banks to pass on the rate cuts. So I think definitely another quarter percent is on the cards.
Nischal, do you think that there are economists who are now saying that since we are on a very good footing with respect to growth, we can go for a dovish commentary and a pause for now and look for a cut in February?
So as I was alluding to earlier, basically, yes, a very strong real number, but the nominal number is going to be closer to still less than a double digit. And that's a cause for worry basically. And that's why I'm asking basically that you should go ahead and do a quarter percent cut now and another quarter percent in 2 months. Because you have the bandwidth at the moment, inflation is very benign. And what is required is an inflation with a growing country like ours. Basically, inflation should be anywhere between 3 to 4%. And that should be a target, basically. It shouldn't be that we can continue with this kind of inflation because that will ultimately impact the earnings and growth of the country.
Okay, Nischal, talk to us about the market breadth and the moves that we're seeing over there. Nifty has done decently okay for itself last week. The mid-cap index has reached a new time high, but you have the small-cap index that continues to lag. What do you have to say about the breadth of the market and if it's looking healthy right now or towards the smaller caps?
So I agree with you. Basically, it's not a very healthy breadth, actually. If you really look at it, there are only a few stocks which are driving it higher up. But after 14 months, you have hit back. I think there is going to be a huge amount of skepticism around it. So there is a good amount of profit taking which is happening at these new levels because market is not sure whether this is going to sustain or not. But you also have to keep in mind that the small cap actually last quarter has actually disappointed in its earnings. And it was the only sector among the three, basically large cap, mid cap, and small cap. Small cap was the only one basically which disappointed. I think the best numbers came from the mid caps and then the large caps. So that is my preference also in that order. And small cap has some way to go because the valuations are still very high.
Okay, Nischal, stay with us. A lot of stock talk as well lined up, but that on the other side of this very quick break.
How do you look at the banking stocks? We saw some correction coming in on private sector banks on Friday.
So I think banking is in a sweet spot. It's one, it has also not performed in the last 1 year. And now we have got I think 100 basis point rate cut already happened. I think partially it has been passed on to the end consumer. And we have still not seen the benefits of that. So I think that should come in the next 2 quarters, and maybe a rate cut which is going likely to happen in the current week. You're going to see that benefits. So I think the market and my expectations are also basically that in banking you are going to see good credit growth happening going ahead, given that you are in a busy season now. So I think in the next 1 or 2 quarters you are going to see strong numbers coming from the banking. Otherwise, the credit quality is benign. There has been enough number of provisions which have been provided as far as even the SFBs are concerned, especially the MFI business, which had suffered a bit. So I think overall seems to be in a good situation for banking.
Okay, good situation for banking. What about other newsmakers? Ashesha is here with that list.
Yes, first up, let's start with the real estate sector, and Brigade Enterprises will be in focus, and this is because it has signed a development project in Hyderabad, and the revenue potential of this project will stand at over 800 crores. So positive development coming in for Brigade Enterprises. Lenskart, meanwhile, has reported strong set of numbers for the second quarter. Revenue is up 21% YOY. Margins too have expanded to about 19%. Versus 16.5% that the company reported same time last year. Very strong set of numbers that Lenskart has reported. Sugar stocks will also be in focus, and this is because Uttarakhand government has gone ahead and hiked SAP prices for sugarcane by 30 rupees per quintal. Negative news, as this is raw material for sugar manufacturing, so the entire sugar basket perhaps could see some bit of negative reaction today. Hindustan Copper, meanwhile, on the back of copper prices trading at a fresh record high on the London Metal Exchange. Consumers of copper, meanwhile, wires and cable industry, the likes of KEI and all the other stocks from the WNC industry, perhaps could see some bit of negative reaction today. NCC has bagged another order worth about 530 odd crores, and this is in addition to the 2,000 crore order that they've already disclosed to the exchanges in the month of November. Arvind Smart Spaces has also acquired a residential project in Ahmedabad, and the revenue potential stands at about 400 crores. Quick Heal Technology also in focus on the back of an order win. They've signed a 5-year government-backed contract. This is to implement integrated cyber security solutions, and the order value stands at about 65 odd crores. Lastly, Reflex Industries, because they've backed an order worth about 33 crores. Remember, this stock was in focus last week as well because they've won some orders worth about 100 odd crores, and the stock will continue to remain in focus on the back of additional order wins that have come through. Okay, lots of stocks to watch out for today. Ashesha, thanks for taking us through that. Yes, all eyes are going to be on the recently listed Lenskart. Very healthy set of second quarter numbers coming in. Revenue has gone up, PAT has expanded, EBITDA has gone up very healthily, and what really looks good for the company is the expansion that we've seen in EBITDA margins. Their India international business have done well. The number of eye tests and the eyewear units they've sold also looks good. And what's very interesting is, in fact, in quarter 4, they're going to be launching a smart glass which is called B, and these smart glasses are going to be able to do UPI payments. They're going to be able to take a look at what your heart rate is, what your BP is doing, your logs, your medical, phone calls, video calls, audio and video capture. It's all going to be very interesting when this launch actually hits the market. So I'm very excited to see that. But Nischal, your take on some of the recent IPOs, and especially the ones that have reported their second quarter numbers. Case in point, Lenskart is good. The studs numbers that we've seen for quarter 2 also look very good. Are you re-looking at some of these?
So I think, yes, I think one, their part to profitability, I think some of these guys who have now more recently listed in that space, basically, they have now realized that top line is not the only thing, and they have to focus on profitability. And I think that's why you're seeing some of them being profitable. You have seen others also who have been recently listed, like Urban and all also, I think, close to profitability. But what we have to understand is basically the valuations are still very, very aggressive in all these things. And with that, for a 20% kind of a growth, I think I don't track Lenskart, and I've not seen it in detail. But for a 20% growth, I think the valuations are very aggressive.
And that seems to be the case. You've got Meesho as well opening up this week. Nischal, any of the new IPOs where you were a subscriber or recommended so?
I'm a conservative guy. Basically, it's very aggressive valuations.
Yeah.
None of these are really making sense for these kind of valuations. But whenever something fits into my thought process, I definitely look at it. The last I looked at was Urban, basically, because I am quite bullish about the services space rather than the product. Because to create services companies, it is very difficult actually. And I own Urban. That's a disclosure I want to make. But we have to be very cognizant of the valuation. In case of Urban also, I think the valuations are pretty aggressive at the moment.
Okay, 135 is where